But I was also wondering, how did they respond to it? Because it's a love letter to them, but it's also quite, you know, you're really frank and honest and open about, you know, a very long and rollercoastery relationship.
I don't. It's not a palpable influence of Corin's sensibility on my writing. I think we just are very different in that way, you know. And I am very admiring of her succinctness. I think that I became a better writer when I was writing for NPR because it got away from anything that sounded sort of academic or highfalutin and became a more relatable and readable. So I credit them in that, or just that time of writing. I mean, it just takes practice. And then with the book itself, I read much of it to Corin, especially. Janet is featured in it, but less. There's more information about Corin that I felt like we hadn't shared publicly. So I read those parts to her, and she was really excited about it. What you realize very quickly is that it's not people you write about that are offended, it's people that you don't write about.
Yes.
Hi. You spoke a bit in the book about the musical influences behind some of later kind of previous albums. I was just wondering what specific musical influences there were in the newer album.
I was actually listening to a lot of Robert Fripp's guitar playing and albums that Nile Rodgers produced, and I was listening to, for me it was really guitar based. It was less song based and more how I wanted my guitar to sound. And I was listening actually to a lot of Duran Duran, and I wanted that kind of like rubbery sound, and I was not very concerned about the guitar sounding like a guitar. I was listening to B-52's Cosmic Thing, which he also produced, Nile Rodgers, and so yeah, just that's where my head was guitar-wise. And then when Corin and I were writing, I really just made her listen to Kanye West over and over again. It's like, listen to this sick sound on this Yeezus album. I don't know, I listen to a lot of hip hop and I love a lot of guitar on that hip hop producers use.
It's kind of following on from that question, a bit of a guitar geek question. What is your either best or favourite guitar you've ever played?
I mean, I guess my go-to is this 1972 Gibson SG. It's really playerly, and the action on it is low, and the neck is really smooth. That's kind of my go-to, although I don't play it live very often. I like it for recording a lot, and I tend to play. I have these. This guy in Los Angeles makes me these guitars, old style guitars, and they're these, they're kind of like tellies. They're semi-hollow body, and I really like that too. That's what I've been playing on the last couple of State of Maine tours.
In the book, you say that the way that you and Corin differ in your songwriting is she's not afraid to sing from a personal perspective, whereas you talk about reading things and singing from other perspectives. Now you've written a memoir which couldn't be more from your perspective. Do you reckon you could start writing songs about experiences that you've had?
I mean, I have written a lot of songs about experiences I have. I just think that the way that I get to them often starts with something literary or something I read. So I filter my own experiences, or my own feelings are sort of filtered through someone else's story or someone's perspective, like Tad Friend's article in the New Yorker Jumpers, or reading Joan Didion when I was writing a song, Hollywood Ending. There's a lot of, so I don't think that there's very little in Slater-Kinney that's completely divorced from the personal. Is just the provenance, I guess, of the songwriting, where the seed is.
There's a girl right at the back in the middle who's had the hand. Oh, the guy, sorry, right at the back. Apologise.
Hi. First of all, I just wanted to say, from reading the book and what you've said today, it sounds like you still have a very kind of eclectic taste in kind of culture. One of the most curious ones I just wanted to ask about as well is, I've heard you reference him a few times, the poet Philip Larkin. I just find it such a kind of bizarre thing that somebody from the northwest coast of America would like such a, what seems quintessentially English poet. But I also wanted to ask as well if you kind of still feel like you have a very eclectic taste, or if you're in that stage now where what you like is set, like you don't really kind of go out looking for new culture anymore, or if it's just what you like now.
I mean, I understand how one, I mean, I think especially, I think people feel a sense of ownership over poets and authors when you can understand it from a geographical perspective. And but I think that Larkin's work definitely translates, and I'm very fond of his poems. And but yes, they're pretty British, I guess. But in terms of my tastes, no, I mean, I don't eclectic. I guess they're eclectic. I guess I've never thought about whether they're eclectic or not. I don't feel like they are. For some reason, they just feel like my taste. They feel like they all feel part of the same world to me. But the only commonality is that I like them all. So they're not eclectic to me, but from the outside, sure. There's some invisible border that I keep them all inside of. But I don't know what that border is called. Just Carrie, yeah.
Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Right over here.
Yes.
Can we expect anything from Wild Flag in the near future?
Probably not. I mean, it's kind of like the live Portlandia question. Playing in a band with people that don't live in the same state as you is really hard. And everything we do in Slater-Kinney right now is so truncated, mostly because of my schedule, that adding in the variable of somebody not sort of being in the same place is really hard, and was one of the reasons that we started focusing on Slater-Kinney, because we were sort of right there. And I loved, like I write about in the book, that wonderful sense of freedom and looseness that occurred when we all finally lived in Portland, and we could write one beat in this way where it wasn't just like on the clock, like, oh, we're here for 3 days, we have to try, which is how we had started writing records with All Hands and the Hot Rock. So I think we all really embrace just this idea of being able to kind of drift in and out of these inspired moments. At least for us, that would, in terms of, and for myself, what music is for me is it's really hard for me to kind of, cram in like songwriting any more than we kind of already have to.